Belize, wake up, Belize. Another day is here. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. We gotta keep moving. Na 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 na. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Voice our opinion and place your calling. WB. Be yourself, see yourself, this is a show by people. Believe our hopes so to needless reason. Nobody feel left out, it's the vibe we dealing. Let's find a solution, yeah, yeah, yeah. Love, respect, unselfishness and cooperation. That's how we need to build a strong nation. We are the people to make the changes. We are the changes, WB. And all the when under God blue skies. And nothing make people get victimized. Let's work together for better, we got to unite. Belize, yeah. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Another day is here. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. We gotta keep moving, na 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 na. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Voice our opinion and place your calling. WB. Get up, make every day count. Don't waste it, people. Do your part, play a role, get where you need to. Look and tune in from work or in your vehicle. If you got a problem, pick up the phone. Why wait? It's a time calling. It's a show with no matter even if you're at home. Just call in. WB. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Another day is here. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. We gotta keep moving, na 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 na. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Voice our opinion and place your calling. WB. Be yourself, see yourself, this is a show, my people. Believe our hopes so to needless reason. Nobody feel left out, it's the vibe we dealing. Let's find a solution, yeah, yeah, yeah. Love, respect, unselfishness and cooperation. That's how we need to build a strong nation. We are the people to make the changes. We are the changes, WB. And all the things that will feel happen under God blue skies. And nothing that people get victimized. Let's work together for better, we got to unite. Belize, yeah. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Another day is here. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. We gotta keep moving, na 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 na. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Voice our opinion and place your calling. WB.
Good morning, Belize. Welcome to the WB Wake Up Belize morning vibes for today, Wednesday, the 2nd of December 2020. I'm Mosai, your host this morning, and I want to welcome you all to our house here on Partridge Street. Of course, we hope your morning is beautiful, your health is excellent, your vibrations positive, and selfishly, we need your morning to be spacious and flexible so that we can be a part of it and you can be a part of ours as we get the WB started for today, Belize's premier morning conversation. We want to welcome all our listeners and all our viewers and everybody online and those getting us via our apps and via simulcast coverage. You know what we do on weekday mornings? We host this platform of active exchange of views and thoughts and opinions, and it all comes together between the hours roughly around 7 to 9. We say around 7 because before we jump into the deep end, we bring you the preliminaries, which means that we get you up to date with the latest happening around the city, around your town, around your village, around your country. That's our morning news update, and that's prepped by Krem's News Center. We also get you up to date on what the weather is going to look like, and for the latest available information, we secure that from the National Meteorological Service. Usually, when we are not broadcasting remotely, we are able to deliver music to elevate your morning. But as you can see, we are not in our studios. We have gone full remote broadcast because of COVID-19. We did have, unfortunately, one of our colleagues test positive. He's doing okay up to this point, so we are very thankful for that and hope he has a full recovery. But we've had to go back to, well, we shouldn't say plan B, it's really our plan A, which we featured a lot during the first months of the pandemic. and that is broadcasting remotely. So we're familiar, but we're a little bit rusty, still working out some of the nuts and bolts. We're gonna make this. We're gonna start this morning by checking in with the National Met Service here and get the latest available weather forecast. And according to the Met, a moist northeasterly airflow is expected to support rainy conditions during the next 24 hours or so. The 24-hour forecast is for continuing cloudy skies, some periods of rain, a few showers, and possible isolated thunderstorms will occur over most areas of the country, starting especially this afternoon and continuing tonight. Looking at the winds, expect northeasterly winds, gusty of about 10 to 20 knots. Sea state will be moderate to rough, waves about 4 to 7 feet in height. And looking at temperatures along the coast, expect a high of 80 degrees Fahrenheit or 27 degrees Celsius with overnight low of 76 degrees Fahrenheit or 24 degrees Celsius. Inland, it warms up to 80 degrees Fahrenheit or 27 degrees Celsius with an overnight low of 72 degrees Fahrenheit or 22 degrees Celsius. As for advisories, flood warning remains in effect for communities near rivers, streams, creeks, and waterways in central and western parts of the country. Additionally, small craft caution for occasionally gusty winds and rough seas. Operators of small crafts are advised to exercise caution. The outlook: few showers, periods of rain, and isolated thunderstorms will linger mainly over northern and central areas on Thursday. Then a few showers and thunderstorms will occur mainly along the coast on Thursday night. And so that is your general weather forecast this morning, Belize. At this point in time, we're going to bring you a morning news update. A historic a dialogue between United Nations and SICA yesterday was billed as historic, with a focus on the development of Central America and the Dominican Republic. It was Prime Minister John Bisenio's first international engagement just 19 days into the new administration. Speaking from self isolation in his bedroom at home, Bisenio first commended temporary pro tem president of SICA, Nicaragua's Daniel Ortega, for arranging the dialogue, as well as UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres for his commitment to development issues, climate action, and to the issue of small island developing states like Belize. As it relates to climate change, Bisenio sketched the effects of Hurricane Nana, Eta, and Iota on about 50 villages in Belize. He subsequently referenced the overwhelmed status of our public health facilities due to the COVID-19 pandemic, with serious effects on our frontline workers and record infection numbers. With the sharp economic downturn Belize has faced, the Prime Minister then turned to the matter of assistance to SIDs, to SIDS, and the role of the United Nations in this regard.
We have sacrificed our economy to survive the pandemic at the expense of development and climate ambition. We do not have the resources to invest in large, sustained stimulus programs to underwrite our recovery. Quite the opposite. We are on the brink of debt distress. We're facing the real risk of the reversal of development gains. What do we need from the UN? It is critical that a global response is fashioned that addresses the particular needs of countries like Belize. Secretary General, we urge you to strongly advocate for responses that take into effective account the needs of the countries of Central America, given our vulnerabilities to climate change and natural disasters in the context of the socio-economic challenges we already face, including citizen insecurity, income equality, and migration. Central Americans' recovery from the dual crisis of climate change and the COVID-19 pandemic will depend on responses from the international system that are cognizant of the reality of our debt-depressed, disaster-impacted, climate-vulnerable economies and our limited fiscal space to address the health and socio-economic crisis unfolding across our countries. To this end, Belize commends the support of the Secretary General for the financing of development in the era of COVID-19 and beyond initiative, in which Belize has been actively participating. We encourage you to look at the policy positions we shared during that forum and set out a plan to take them forward with us.
Messenia also pointed to what former Prime Minister Dean Barrow referenced before departing the post, the need for cancellation of debt and debt swap.
Addressing liquidity and debt through cancellation initiatives, standstills, and or debt swap instruments must be part of the approach for supporting SIDS and to be able to manage the current emergencies and plan to resilient recovery. Ambitious climate action must be an integral part of the global recovery. Countries need to be strongly encouraged and supported to use this time to develop ambitious and robust nationally determined contributions that will put the world on a path towards a 1.5 degrees centigrade and toward net zero emissions by 2050. Belize will be coming forward with its climate plan. Our nationally determined contributions will feature our commitment to enhance nature-based solutions amid the growing global awareness of the potential of ecosystems to contribute to rising climate ambition and foster sustainable development. Secretary General, greater on-the-ground support will be needed from the UN development system, most readily through the resident coordinators and multi-country offices to accelerate movement towards the implementation of the various international development agendas and build resilient economies that are better equipped to confront periods of crisis. Finally, Secretary General, your advocacy on behalf of the development challenges of our states has been a clear, loud voice of clarity. We ask that you ensure that all those who speak on your behalf, including your special envoys, make up those policies options and demonstrate support for the vulnerable.
Following the presentations of all heads of state, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres affirmed that the organization is committed to working on development strategies and plans with the Central American nations. He stated what is clear is the vulnerability of Central America as well as the Caribbean in the face of the pandemic and climate change. And in this regard, we are clear and we support you. The daily COVID infographic was not released last night as the intention is to present merged results of standard PCR tests and rapid testing from both public and private facilities this morning. The warning has already been made that once this happens, the public should expect a notable jump in the number of infections since rapid testing started in public facilities, first in Orange Walk and Belize City, the weekend of October 30th. Around that same time, rapid testing began in 2 private medical facilities that were validated to provide this service in Belize City. Rapid testing was then expanded to all regional and community hospitals a little less than 2 weeks ago. Prior to that, rapid testing was implemented at the Philip Goulston International Airport and at specific organizations like the prison. We note that according to the Ministry of Health and Wellness, rapid tests should only be performed on asymptomatic people as they are not sensitive or specific enough that they should perform on symptomatic people as they are not sensitive or specific enough for asymptomatic persons. In a statement announced as coming from the desk of the Minister of the Blue Economy, the government of Belize has essentially put pause on the review of the Waterloo Port expansion and cruise terminal project. The reasons cited are twofold. One, that there are more pressing issues like the COVID pandemic and economic crisis that warrant the government's attention at this time, and two, that there appear to have been gaps in the public consultation process for the project. The release therefore states the developers of the Port of Belize Cruise and Cargo Expansion Project were advised to rethink their consultation process and seek ways of addressing major concerns such as ocean dumping in the area proposed, which has the potential to jeopardize Belize's important World Heritage Site, the Barrier Reef, while significantly impacting the tourism sector. These are the important discussions that must be tabled under the watchful eye of the new Blue Economy Ministry. The ministry says it has embarked on formulating a Blue Economy Master Plan under which projects such as the Waterloo Cruise and Port Expansion Project will be given greater attention. Over the last half decade, it is estimated that 250 persons may per annum have contracted or have been diagnosed HIV positive. Of that number, over 100 die yearly from complications associated with the disease, making it one of the few leading causes of death in the country. A 2018 report from the Pan American Health Organization affirms that communicable diseases, including HIV infection and acute respiratory tract infections, were responsible for 20% of deaths. Enrique Romero, Executive Director of the National AIDS Commission, says the figures are grim.
Sadly enough, over the 5 years, the figures are not too encouraging. 2018 figures, which is the latest that we have from the Ministry of Health, shows that there's an estimated 5,000 persons living with HIV and AIDS in Belize. Of that 5,000 persons living with HIV, it is estimated that only 50%, some 2,500 persons, have been diagnosed and know their status. So that means then that we have another 2,500 persons who are estimated to be living with HIV who do not know their status. They have not been diagnosed, they have not been tested, and do not know their status. And that's alarming for us. So that's an area that we have been, over the past 5-6 years, we have tried a lot in terms of National Testing Day and World AIDS Day testing and outreach activities. Of the 50%, of the 2,500 persons that have been diagnosed and know their status, another 50% of them are on treatment and have been retained on care. And again, those numbers for us are alarming as well, because the only way you can reach viral suppression and not have the virus turn into a AIDS disease is by you being on medication. So it simply means that of the 2,500 persons that are on treatment, we have only managed, as a response, only managed to retain and 50% of those, some 1,200 of them, on their medication. So we can safely say that another 1,200 has been lost to follow up, to care. Only about 40% of those have a viral load suppression. And what does that mean? It simply means then that the load of the virus, the amount of virus in your system is very low. And once you reach that level, it basically means that the risk of transmission to a person who's HIV negative is very minimal, almost non-existent. So that's our goal of having our patients reach to that viral load suppression.
Most alarming is that of the 250 persons estimated to contract the virus annually, almost half die and over 50% are males.
Over the past 5 years, there's been an estimated about roughly 250 new HIV cases per year. And again, that is very alarming for us. And more importantly, and more alarming for us, is the fact that on an average, every year, there's an estimated about 110 persons who die from AIDS. So when you look at the raw numbers, Urson, 250 new cases per annum and 110 deaths per annum, when you look at the raw numbers, you can safely say that 50% of those newly infected individuals will die in the year.
In terms of
that's alarming.
Yeah, it is alarming indeed. In terms of the gender breakdown, are we seeing You said 250 per annum over the last 5 years. In terms of the gender breakdown, are we seeing more infections of those 250 per annum in males or in females?
Okay, when we look at the segregation in terms of gender, um, on an annual basis, you have more women being tested than men. So twice the number of women are tested than men. So for every man that is tested, you have 2 women being tested. And this can be attributed to many factors. The fact that men have late health seeking services. We don't go to the hospital until it's we're very sick. We don't like to be tested. We don't like to be pricked with a needle. So various factors. Plus another contributing factor to why more women get tested is because of the maternal and child health program that the Ministry of Health has, whereby every pregnant woman is tested, in their prenatal and antenatal care. However, when it comes to deaths, we have more men dying from AIDS than women. And again, we can attribute that to the fact that men, will seek healthcare services till it's too late. And I just wanted to share another important data, which is very important. And surprisingly, it's no different than the COVID-19 pandemic that we're experiencing right now, that the majority of new infections are occurring in the age range of 20 to 49, which is the most productive age range of any society, including our beautiful and little Belize. So that again is concerning. We have a lot of young people being infected. So, like I said, it's no different from the COVID-19 pandemic as well.
And that ends our morning news update here inside the WB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. We will take a small break, and then when we come back, we are going to get our conversation started. Live and direct from Partridge Street. We hope to get you on board. We'll be right back. And to all the folks who look on us right now on the various social media apps, whether on Facebook, on our Creme television page, or on YouTube, you'll notice that we don't go to ad break because we are streaming directly onto these four platforms and as well to our television station. So this is kind of like a behind the scenes. So if you see us not talking, it's not because we're having a problem. It's because our main broadcast has gone to a break and we're waiting to get back on. But you will see us unless I move off camera, and you'll see us doing reading emails and messages. That's the kind of like part of the behind the scenes, especially when you are behind the scenes alone. Back in the day, we used to have very eventful behind the scenes when we all could be in the same room. Seems like, whoa, way back then in the days before the pandemic struck. So, just giving you that heads up that we are presently at break on our main broadcast or live televised broadcast of WB. And then what will happen is that they will message me to tell me that they're ready to come back to get our feed, and then I will count down and we start again. So that will happen in a couple of minutes, and that's the way it works out during the commercial break. This is the kind of thing that happens when we're broadcasting remotely. Just so you don't get a bit too confused. I think some people might get confused, are not certain why I'm here and I am not talking. So presently, I am not live on the television, but I'm still on YouTube and I'm still on Facebook. So I still have to carry on. In a short while, we should have. I'm assuming we're going to have our brother David Almendaris join us. We'll see how that works out. So I'm just waiting for the go ahead that says we can get back on, and we are going to hit you up. We do encourage you that if you're watching us on any of these platforms, that you can still call us. The number is going to be 672-4770, and you can link with us. Of course, you can put comments. Morning, yeah. Yaya is actually saying, thanks for the explanation. All right. It's not every day Yaya gives you a passing mark, so you have to feel good about that. Thank you very much, Sister Yaya. Yeah, so we're just waiting for in studios, our controller director is a young lady by the name of Jada Anderson. She's a really young sister, and she started green. Now she's basically handling the control room and technical duties this morning by herself. So we have to give Jada some big respect. And we're just waiting, and David has indicated that he's going to be joining us. And Jada says that we're ready to go back live. So here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, welcome back to the WB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. Mozart here, and in a few we'll be joined by David Almendaris. We're going to link him in. We are broadcasting remotely, so that makes it different in the sense that I'm not in the studios, and we don't have access to our phone lines, and we only have one line that you can call. It's a cell number. It's 672-4770. That's the direct line right now that we are utilizing, so that even though we are not in our studio and it's not the ideal, we still make sure that the number one ingredient is ready and loaded, and you can access it and get your thoughts in, because that's essentially what this is designed for. This is really not a show about just bringing you, and I don't know what's the problem. I think there might be a problem here. There might be a problem. Let me just see what's going on with Jada. This is the WB. Yes, Jada, I'm live on here. What's going on? All right. All right. So can you just indicate to me whether or not I am on air or not, Jada? Because you calling me makes me feel like we're having a problem, and I can't recognize any problem. I see my mic is not muted. We are streaming, and so I really need some indication that we are on the television, and if not, then we try to figure out what the problem is. So please indicate to me, or somebody, if you're getting us via your television set, you could always give me a call so I know everything is okay, or give me a message. I know I can see that we have folks linked with us via the various social media, and Jada, you're just not hearing me at all. And I don't know what is the cause of that, because my mic is on. So please Tell me what is going on, Sister Jada. I need to know if there is a problem. I will just continue as if though there is not a problem. I think that's what I'm going to do here since I'm not getting any word. I haven't been told what's going on. Okay, finally, I think I will be getting a message here. Let me just remind you that the telephone number is 672-4770, 672-4770, and I've been told that everything is fine. That is cool. Great. So we are here with you until about 9 this morning, and like I said, we do expect to be joined by David Almendaris in a short second, and we won't be having Michelle Trapp with us this morning. She's unavailable, so that is we're looking forward. We always look forward for Michelle being here. She joins us on Monday and Wednesdays and Fridays, but she's unavailable this morning. So it's going to be, as me and David call it, it's going to be a bull fest. There's no sister in the midst, unfortunately. Just straight testosterone. They operate this morning on the WB, Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. We do, begin this morning on the one note that we have beginning. And we were told yesterday, listen, sometimes I guess people are exhausted by the grim reality of this pandemic that has been with us, at least here in Belize, since the latter part of March. And most news that we get is unpleasant, especially specifically over the past couple of months. We did have a moment in time when things were really looking good for us, and since then we've lost a lot. We've lost a lot of ground, and the coronavirus has taken the lead, unfortunately. We appreciate every little thing that we noticed that we were on a very significant trend of minimum number of deaths per day was 3, and then I think we have gone now over the past 2 days where thankfully, and we know that for that person and their family, there is no thanks in that. There's a loss to them, but we know that what we fear is that the trend for number of daily deaths was really inching up and getting into some really bad zones, and so we notice that at least for the last 2 days that has not been the case, though we did lose another person over those 2 days. It's nothing like what we were experiencing for the past 2 weeks. Of course, November being the deadliest month of the pandemic for us, it was a terrible month. So we could start off with that little bit of what you'd say going in the right direction. I don't know what that means. I don't know if it's going to hold. I don't know if that is just a kind of anomaly rather than a trend. We have to wait and see. Now, what we have been told is that this morning, when we are told about testing, is going to be a huge number of people who have been tested, and I imagine a huge number of people who are, and I see that my brother David is here, so we get let's see if we can get David in the house. Yes, brethren.
Morning.
Right, and the audio work right away. That is different. Morning, my brother. Good having you on the show. As always, right?
Blessings. Good morning, Zinc Fence. Morning, Belize. Always a pleasure to be here on the morning show. I don't take it lightly, and I look forward to excellent conversation with you guys today.
Yeah, well,
I listen to the talk and the morning. I call it the morning briefing, not Corona briefing, because it have to happen. I did a point where almost like a Kesera thing, because with the telling, with the talk about it, you can't say with the put it on the back burner. It's a very pressing issue. Christmas they come up, Christmas shopping they come up. I want to mention that I didn't notice most stores, especially I don't want to be point out no particular store, but you know the big stores we go by, and some of the stores they don't adhere to the amount of people in the store policy. You see Christmas to go right now, and everybody we have to be very smart.
Let me take this call about 1 second.
All right.
All right. Lower your radio and your TV. Listen to us through your phone. Good morning. What's up?
Yes, good morning. I'm just calling. Your audio is pretty bad right now. I'm in Ladyville area.
The audio is bad.
Yes, I kind of just wanted you to know.
Okay, thank you very much for that, helping me out, and my headphone is just.
So if anybody know where most are for Christmas, you could use a headphone. Beats if you could, beats work good.
Yeah. Go ahead, brother. Let me just get myself together and try being a little bit of a...
I'm saying that this coronavirus pandemic thing, we need to take it serious. We need to take it serious enough. We are paying a high price for it. High. We reach a point where we are bury people we love for it. We have to get at the point where we have to take care of oneself. Have to practice the protocols. Corona, if you notice now, it become normal to it. We know not like when we first come out, we were scared for it. And now when it become normal to it, that when you bring it to its knees, it bring the great United States of America to its knees. It bring Italy, Europe, England, Spain to their knees. Why we should be different right now, bring we to our knees. That for we knees we want to go to. We could stop it. We could practice the good protocols. I listened to the news just now, and two interesting facts I walk away from the news. Actually, three interesting facts. Just the most serious one right now, that killing season. December, November, I believe City especially, a killing season. Because most of the gangsters and the bad men, they get free up and they get in the Christmas vibes and they let them guard down. And then the predators and they're right there and punk span. This is the real situation with the pan right now. If you notice last week, we have a spree of people that died from murders. Gunshot murders. Belize City. You know, my people, you know, I'm a product of you. I need to talk to you because I think the killing, my boy, the killing season. Killing season bad. And we're in the height side right now. You, Mr. Gang man, you, Mr. Shoot man. You don't listen to weak, I need to know about the streets. I know not an easy solution like Corona. You can't stop because that of people done dead and that of people have to pay back for people have to done dead and that our cycle I never done. That our serious cycle where we get in there right now. No, Mr. Chester can't call no peace because my brother done dead and my cousin done dead and this one do it and that one do it. That has been done from biblical days, then kind of beef their own. And probably after I did it, still exist. But I want you just take 2 seconds before you pull the next trigger and think, boy, man, think, boy, pa, think if it's worth it. Is it worth it all what to do? All the horrors and the killing and got the whole society spook out. Ease off, my boy. Ease off, leave it. Another important thing I want to touch on quick because I know that you get hot right now and I have to shut up and listen, which I enjoy it, is the blue economy government. Mr. Pierce. Mr. Pierce have orange just like me, you know, go right up the street. I'm glad they kind of listen to me. They don't admit they listen to me, but I'm glad that they kind of listen to me. I don't hate them, you know. But we have to be real. Real is real. What I don't think you just tell me, to me, I interpret it as you tell the man go back, go do your homework and come back again. You go back, go do your homework, Make sure you cross your T's and dot your I's. And then you come back to do it again and we look at it again. That's the vibes I get from that. Now a stay of execution. You don't cancel your execution. You just put it to a stay. And that's how most of our country right now, everything that power stay. And they watch, when they talk about all other things, but I hear nothing but the relief fund. What we can do about the grocery bags, you call it. What we can do about the $75 a week when we used to get. We're still in our pandemic and we're in our economic pandemic. One thing I want to applaud the Prime Minister for is the fact that they tell you the truth that you have to beg for some debt forgiveness. You tell the same way Dean Barrow say, we have to beg for some debt forgiveness. They talk to the World Bank, but I want to take a couple of more minutes and write their speech. Because the way it presented to me, like I have a feeling that somebody else write that speech. You have to write that speech because I don't get the vibe. I have to go listen to it over and over again to get the full sense of it because you're not fluent enough to understand. Can you tell me, you talk to the United Nations and tell me we need to work on the COVID thing. And they tell me we need to borrow some money because things dread. But then they tell me what we are doing in the interim with the food, basic things. Poor people, we need to leave food package. How we get that cranking? Whatever you want to call it, whatever. But we need to get that back because people in my community, they tell me we need it. We also need to figure out what we can do with the tourism sector. They're not going back to work this week. They're not going back to work next week. No cruise ship will come this week. No cruise ship will come next week. No, I don't have to operator most. And I had bookings for December. And so the COVID rate, the raise, so the bookings, the drop. So the COVID rate, the raise, so the bookings, the drop. The bookings gone to almost non-existent again because nobody want to come if we don't get we act together. We're up on the endangered countries list. We're up on the highest ranking list when it comes to COVID right now. Then everybody, government, they tell them, no come here. Because you're not going to act together. And we just 400,000 people. If we make that sense, all of them are done dead. And we can't get we act together. We that unruly. We that out of order. By God, where the going we don't another America, then you know a state of the United States, because they're not gonna have together for their new president. I pray God bless him for him because if he got a hot plate to handle, because he got a set of people where they believe it's against the constitution, they are dead. That's the plain thing, you know. We are dead too. One lot of we are dead because we unruly, we still got the parties, underground parties, and the socialize up. And as soon as we get in our next man yard, we pull off with masks and everybody jiggy. You have to be very careful of oneself. You have to understand that maybe you don't want to get dead, you know, but you want to kill your granny, you want to kill the man down the street, you want to kill the fruit vendor. We have to understand that this is our check system and right now our real time. This is a real true time. This is not fake, this is not movie. This that we're prepared for all your life. That's my message to Belize. Plain and simple.
Telephone number that again 6724770. I know that some people say that the audio is not good. I don't know what the problem is. We've linked with our technician. Our technician is saying that we don't appear to have a problem as such with our audio. So I don't know if it is being experienced on radio or on TV or on
Other
this.
listeners could have text you and call you, that'd be good.
Yeah, well, that's how I know that the problem is there, and so I'm a little distracted because when you are broadcasting in the studio, we have the service of the entire team. I'm not in the problem solving, but when I am also responsible for a bit of the management of the broadcast, then it becomes a little bit of a distraction.
Well, I know we got a lot of listeners, and I know they start blow up my phone right now. Because they are tourists and of the country. As soon as I open my mouth, I recognize that voice. So I big up all the listeners, one in a Ladyville, one in a foreign, everybody who tune into it. thanks for the vibes. Because I never understood, I don't realize the vibe so heavy on the most. But sometimes when I go other places and under the mask, I like one thing I like with the mask thing is you can stay well disguised, mask and cap and sunshades, that's it. That's good. Once you don't open your mouth.
Yeah.
But as soon as you open your mouth, why? I recognize that voice. I mean, there Kyle the other day. And I stop and buy tacos and the lady say, I recognize your voice. You are the man for creme every morning, frighten me. Thank God I don't get me. Then I pass my Vietnam too, you know.
You got my Vietnam?
I don't got in, but I see the Vietnam style. I'm buying a straight pile. I'll drink beer for a special occasion. I'll drink beer so. So when me and go and stop and drink one beer, I'll have to deal with tell the lady. One of these days, hopefully before the sunset.
Pandemic a rough thing, right?
Come on, this pandemic. Yeah. Man, but I really want the government to get on track one more. I'm advising the government that next week our organization will reach out to them for see how they help with for community farming. I noticed also in the Prime Minister's speech, he said he is open to ingenious and new ideas. So I guess we are contact the blue economy and we are contact he. No, we need to work with the government to the Ministry of Agriculture. We give the Minister of Agriculture notice, Mr. Serbula Baiza. I know him as a teacher for Muffles. He live right behind the street that Child Farm for my mama used to live. I know all them people on a personal level. And we are start reach out next week because for we project need for done. We can't wait for no cruise ship come back. And this is our new idea and a new initiative. If you notice cabbage, scarce. If you notice cilantro, well, you wasn't happy because cilantro scarce. Cilantro, they are like $12 a pound right now. So that was a sweet humor. But yeah, cilantro, I barely get cilantro in anything right now. But these are the exact same problems you want to mitigate.
I don't understand where they go on. Some people say my audio is good.
No, man,
some people say the audio only there on the radio. So I don't know that way. I don't know that way they go on. I can't listen to no message. I can't listen to no message.
Mr. Kelly, Houston say we jiggy. Los Angeles say we jiggy.
Somebody said in the city the audio good.
All right. You see what I tell you? Maybe that Ladyville, man. That
Ladyville on the radio, you're loud and clear. I don't really know.
Jiggy. That's some jiggy. Yeah, but we give everybody notice that starting next week, FECTAB and the Community Gardening Project will start knocking on some of the government doors.
Somebody says WB is not showing and there's no audio on channel 57. From time to time, these cable companies play league games with we, right? You the person where they pay the money, supposed to check with your cable people there and tell them that you're audio all right. On the program where you want to listen to. So then better play all. Huh? Because what they try to do then try to make it seem like we have stepping and all, because if you watch your TV and you want the first thing you want to do that believe the problem that with Uno. But
sometimes the message too real to they can handle the message, you know.
So when they cut for we audio, you might there and think that we responsible for that, but different games play with them cable companies here according to their agenda and motives. Ultimately that Uno the parent. And Uno can't miss with them money there. So if that's the case, you have to link with the cable company and telling them morning I want to watch WB and I want to know why it is the audio alone have problems pan Uno, but pan the next or pan my next network, no problem there with the audio. Because they really
I think sometimes I have a try to see me and you don't go up on the show if the audio good.
I know. Listen, they've been going all the way there. Ultimately, who pays has the power. And so
I had a live press conference, and as soon as I start talk on the radio,
gone.
Audio gone. That's a coincidence.
Listen, maybe your voice too powerful for the audio system, brethren.
Like this. Maybe that's a better. I don't know, man, but police have to realize we got a reality check we have for. keep one light bulb on. Because at this point in time, it's very critical for make one coconut tree grow straight. You have to fix it and put it in the ground. You have to line it up correct.
Some mornings, again, I want to repeat the phone number. I know that I guess people just interact and they tell me about the audio and whatever, but we want to jump in at the conversation, carry that with the offer. So again, I want to repeat that the phone number that's 672-4770. Some couple weeks now, I had in the immediate aftermath of the US elections, I think her name is the Congress representative from the state of Minnesota. I think she was born in Somalia. Ilhan Omar, I think is her name. She's one of the four, and calling something the four, because they are like they are extremely radical as compared to the other members of their own party then.
It's too real.
And she made a statement that, and I started to say it, and then somebody called in and I never got a chance to say it. So she was being asked about, because you know that the outgoing president really has lambasted her because she's Muslim, because she's an immigrant, and so he has tried to play that game with her, saying that she needs to go back to the country where she comes from. I mean, to that level.
He said some nasty things, more nasty.
Yeah, I said a lot of nasty things about. Anyway, I got a call. So I know I'm going to get to say it again. Good morning, WB.
Morning, Moose. Morning, David. Morning, Belize. Moose, in listening to the Waterloo proposal, nowhere in a conversation, and I hear nobody that advocates for the people in a community whether initiative will most impact. I don't care what they say the people and say. I assure you, most of the people in the communities, if they even know about the initiative, they don't understand it. And it's interesting when you should have your NGOs and come out for the environment. And the most important resource I believe are the people. Nothing. That's just me, or you and David say here to see.
If what?
That's just me. That is something like I come to that conclusion, or I don't make the same observation.
I have I think that it's not so much. That's not what gone through my mind. What gone through my mind is that the way that these projects are often put forward, and we know for a very long time, because of the level of community need, they will try to always give a what you would call a rosier and real picture of what is going to happen, about, oh, it's going to create so much jobs and it's going to create so much opportunities. And so it's not so much hearing from the people, but it's also, I believe, important to have proactive education with the people, because ultimately they have to, their position is paramount. But it's also important for their position to be one that comes from information and not come from one-sided information. So when you have a consultation where it is something that is being done virtually, and so community members don't even have an opportunity to say, well, come and inform themselves and hear the active criticism, because the voice of science is important. It's important to know what impact is going to take place according to the people who are trained in such fields, and to have that debate take place. And it is something that the person that is in these in particular the community around Port Loyola for them to hear what's going on. So it's like there is a process that's going on that is not bottom up. I can jump up and I can say I am not with Waterloo, or I can say I am with Waterloo. The important thing for me to understand is that the voices that matter the most are the people in that community. It starts with them, and then of course all of us have a stake in it, but you would say on the front line of that are the people who are in the community, the people who work at the port presently, and
I was,
their engagement has to be a proactive one. It has to be an intentional one. It cannot be well, we want to hear from them. No, you have to go to them to present the information that you have, and then trust their ability to make a judgment on it. So I don't believe that they are anywhere near being informed on this matter for me to say, well, I want to hear what they have to say, what their position is, because I'm very confident that that position they've been completely insufficient, proactive information sharing, whether you are a pro or against. And I think that that is fundamentally where I have a problem. So when I spoke about the issue, what I tried to speak about is we have to look on anything from a opportunity cost, and also use past experience to figure out, well, if a man says you're going to get 10, we can look in the past and say when people say you're going to get 10, we find out that we get 0.5. So if somebody says you're going to get 10, and you know that history teaches you that if a man says 10, you're actually going to get zero point 0.5. So you know that that is a number you can put. Then you say, well, what am I going to risk for 0.5? What am I going to risk for 0.5? So you have to start to identify the things that you actually have now, because it's incredible to me that priority be given at this point in time to that process when the entire cruise industry has been exposed for being something that you can't have as heavy a staple, a dependency on, because it has demonstrated in a very painful way its vulnerabilities and its shortcomings as a kind of a primary a part of our economic diet, our dependency diet. We are supposed to be in a ultra cautious mode now with anything that says that, because there's so much uncertainty, and there's a lot of questions. So that's one. And then we also have to figure out what it is we are jeopardizing, and we have to have a value for it. And what we are jeopardizing is not just the matter of, as you have pointed out, the matter of, well, how beautiful the reef looks when I go and I look at it, or how beautiful, or how the marine life are doing. It is the economic connection of the well-being of that marine life to the residents who are here. There is a direct correlation with opportunity and economic reality with the marine life well-being. So it's not well-being for well-being's sake. Yes, uh it's a bit we have to be human being centric. And so it has to begin with us. It has to be a how many people are able right now to access opportunities, because we still have a certain level of marine life well-being. Even though we are in the midst of a pandemic, we still are so blessed, despite all that we have done incorrectly, that somebody who not have money in a pocket right now could actually go and even go offshore and catch a fish for feed itself and feed the family. And the value of that, what is the value of that? And are you willing to jeopardize your ability for a pie in the sky to say, well, at the very least, we have more ships coming, but when you go to the water side, there's not going to be anything jumping in that water. You can't go there and catch one right offshore and catch on barracuda, as I've seen people at Yaba do very often. I've seen people in Port Loyola do very often. They know what it is to go out that water edge there and catch kubali. They know what it is to go off of that water edge there and catch snapper. Unbelievably, that is a marvelous thing. That is not something to not to take for granted. You can't believe that it will always be that way. And so we have to have that consciousness, and we have to have very informed, robust, open, transparent conversations, intentional conversations, to make sure that everybody understands what I have in my hand and what it is you're telling me is out there if I let go what is in my hand. I think it's the chairman said, I think it is Smokey Joe who used to say, it's not one bird in my hand worth two in the bush, that one bird in my belly worth two in the bush. Because if you in my hand, I still not eat it yet. So that is the ultimate conversation you're having. What is the value of the bird that is in your stomach as compared to the man where they tell about two birds out there in the bush? If that is what if that is the decision that you are going to face with, that's what you have to deal with. So I again, I don't believe it's just a matter of hearing what people have to say. I think it is the responsibility to make sure that everybody is so informed as to be able to participate meaningfully and contribute meaningfully in this decision making, and it begins and ends with them. They matter the most. So ultimately, that is where I stand on the matter, sister.
Respect. And then to make us just know that they never said no unto the project, They just deposit.
I want answer to, but I want it after the time check, or you want it now?
You have to do the time check. 7:32. This time check is brought to you by Grace Kennedy Belize Limited.
How put in the 2 cents for this answer?
All right, welcome back to the WB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. It's Wednesday morning, 2nd of December, 2020. Sister Yaya is on the line. And David, you wanted to jump in.
Yes.
I
listened to you answer the question, and maybe I have a different worldview. I don't know if I misunderstood the question, but Sister Yaya asked what consultation I did with the people amongst Yabra concerning this project. And my answer to that, and why the NGOs when the NGOs they come out about the environmental cause. First of all, in the NGO eyes, and this is my personal view, this is not to do with the view of this radio station or nothing like that. But in my personal view, in most of the NGO eyes, the problems to most of the things we have are humans. So they see we as the problem, that we cause the global destruction, that we cause the overfishing, that we cause this, that we cause that. So they're more interested in protecting the reef and protecting all the beautiful things there, because they figure out that one there forever, and we disposable and we dispile that. That's my interpretation in that. But in this Waterloo case, you need to understand one, they brought a very old EIA, very old. They use a Belizean man for presenting it to us, and then this is just a rubber stamp. This is also say we had a consultation, see the records here, see there. You could go there and you could real hell, Because I have been to those meetings before we got weird at independence, and we real hell. And that was just me. And no other less than Mr. Alegria was there at that one down south. And the project went right through. Even though they asked them the same question, what are you going to do with the silt that will not dredge? And they said let's go and dash it somewhere where nothing exists. And I remember one diver, I don't remember her name, but she not even a Belizean, but she made Belize her home, and she's a professional scuba diver. Got up and tell her where in Belize life doesn't exist. And she starts showing them pictures, and she's game tight. And nobody addressed her at the end of the day. So we need to understand that the people around Yaba are not, first of all, the investor, not to build this port with Yaba in mind. Just like Donald Trump, when they build a port, they put up a big wall. And then later, thou shall not fish here, thou shall not pitch here, thou shall not go here, you can't go so. That and then thing will come up. Because the investor, they need for the money. He want to get money out. If you think I like on a port right now, I'm telling you want to go in a port to take and you walk and see when you go back there. You can't get in a port. If you don't got some business to do that require some money a transaction, you can't go in there. And just that from a larger scale and catch you.
Well, I hear that. I think I think you have varying mindsets and different organizational cultures for different conservation groups. They're not the same. Ultimately, there is in my view, the most important thing is not about the investor. The investor wants to do what he wants to do. The investor cannot do anything without the government okay. And the government answers to the people. And so for the government to make a decision, it has to be first and foremost be concerned about not just what the people have to say, but it has to proactively, thoroughly present as much information to the people. Because I'll give you an example of that. Very often you find out that a man can tell you a business plan and show you millions and millions and millions of dollars potentially in revenues and can make an argument based on numbers. And they can look very impressive with numbers. And yes, I think we intuitively know what things are valuable to us in the sea. But one of the problems we have is that we don't have a sense of numerically what is the value, what is the state, the present well-being of our marine life able to provide to us, whether pandemic is here or pandemic is not here. It is one of the few professions that has not been altered. In fact, if you have your fish camp out somewhere on an island, that one of the safest place to be in the middle of the pandemic.
Yeah.
But because you understand the value of the marine life well-being to people, you understand the need to ensure that the marine life well-being is being looked after. You cannot just believe that marine life is not at risk from human behavior. That is just reality. That is truth. That is facts. So there's nothing sinister about trying to encourage an atmosphere where we have a sense of trying to strike a balance. There's nothing sinister with that. What I am talking about is that when they start to talk, because what they're going to do is just like what we saw happen with the ICJ or with everything. Whenever they start to bombard you with all the fanciness and start to show you these what I call artistic rendition of what's going to take place and tell you about immediately they're going to provide so much job opportunities. I mean, listen to me and listen to me carefully. I'm going to tell you this. We were told directly as a negotiating team when we had the situation where the former prime minister said that unless the stevedore issue was solved, he will not entertain any terminal. We were told by people across the table from us, straight up, you and your people are jeopardizing the greatest economic project this country has ever seen, and that you are.
Have I not heard that before?
I am saying to you that it is this kind of language that we were told. We were told that just imagine you are standing in the way of heaven. That's essentially to put it in a nutshell. What we were being told is that our demand for fairness and justice in our workplace was stopping heaven from coming to Southside Belize City and coming to Belize. And so
But that,
I'm saying to you that these people have the money to bombard and to actively try to create an image of heaven in front of our people's eyes, and
but they
don't
don't help you.
and so that is why ensuring that the information that is there, all the different analysis that demonstrates the impact of the dredging, and then connecting it to the impact of that deterioration in the marine life to your everyday well-being. That is how you're going to fortify people against the kind of propaganda campaign that they are going to experience, because these people have the resources to do it. So you can't just say, well, I want to hear from the people. Yes, we are. That's why we have talks. We fundamentally we believe in that. But there is a responsibility to proactively put forward as much. It's a kind of a vaccination. It's a knowledge vaccination to prevent propaganda from swaying their minds, because we have been swayed multiple times before, brother. People bought hook, line, sinker, harvest key. Hook,
Yeah.
line, sinker. Even as you being as vocal and as strong as you are, you have people within your organization who are not completely sold on your position, who are trying to push words and say David not to speak for all of we. That's happening. You know that is happening, because you know why? People are vulnerable, brother. It is not that people are just want to be bad or want to be whatever. People are vulnerable, and we have to anticipate those vulnerabilities, and we have to vaccinate. I'm using that term as a kind of a metaphor to say that is what thorough information campaign does. It prevents you from being vulnerable to information that is skewed in a way to favor a certain position. So that is what is required right now from government and from non-government organizations. And then when you present that information to the people, let the power rest in their bosom. That is the way it has to be. That's what I believe in. You feel me?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
think
feel
we
the most that we, the people in the communities themselves, community workers, credible ones, and I am very clear on that, credible community workers, we have a responsibility to learn the issues. Because a lot of way and they put me in there, that just some big motor make lot of nice. But we don't need to make nice. We need to improve with argument. We need to learn the issues, like thoroughly learn it. So that once we thoroughly learn it and simplify it so we could talk to the people about it, when they start with a propaganda campaign, we could identify what it was and because we done study the issue, ask questions of people and know more than we. So we as community workers, as I said, we have a responsibility to learn the issues. And not just to make nice come and big mouth.
I have a question. How much how much person died last week from a gunshot? More or less.
3 persons, I think.
How much environmental organization come out and condemn it?
I don't think any came out.
Very good. We are not endangered species. The people that believe that the common black man when I go to high school between the age of 14 and 25 and 30 are not endangered species. We know they dead out as fast as anything else. And nobody come out and say nothing. Nobody ring the alarm. We know in a poverty. Our families are living in some London bridges where alligator they fly through back at the same port there. Any organization come out for them people?
I don't
Anyone
hear a
write to a
single organization
statement?
come out. I don't hear any kind of organization come out.
All right.
I don't hear
And tell me
any.
I'm crazy then.
I don't hear any. I don't hear any. Let's say very few sources of comments come on that right now. We no hear that. So that no
I
exists.
crazy then.
That
I
no
crazy.
exists. So
All right.
so
So we're
so
not in danger.
so the bottom line is that you have to have one consciousness that every day though things that we have done have created, just as we have created a process where we have done some very detrimental things. Things have been done that benefit ultimately the existence of opportunities still. Because I will always defend the marine resources for this reason, brother. It is the only industry that is presently not controlled by the oligarchy. It is the only industry right now that is not controlled by a few powerful people. So you have fisherman out the Vernon Street, you got fisherman out of Yabra, you got fisherman out of Kikaka, you got fisherman out of Griga, you have fisherman out of Punta Gorda, you have fisherman with part. They never have to go and essentially go to some kind of corporate entity to be able to enter the industry. You have places on the planet, David, where part of the fishing industry is completely controlled by the
We're moving towards
oligarchical
that.
powers. Do you understand that?
We're
You
moving
could
towards
go.
that daily.
Oh yes, we are going to move.
You don't need a license. You go fish in a certain spot. Not like when they go get in a boat and decide where you go and you want to go.
No, well,
It's narrowly becoming that.
no. But it's still that one attempt was still, you say, that in a progress. But that is not the same as saying that something is becoming the possession of a multinational company. If you go and you check out countries like, say, for example, where one country now where the fishing industry, like I think it's Chile, where do anchovies. That's a corporation. You, the fisherman, work for a corporation. You are not in control of your economic reality.
When
So
it comes to lobster, we stand the same way. You know? Lobster, anybody fishing lobster,
no,
once
but
the big thing you go for, you have to go down a corporation.
you got a cooperative presently. You got a cooperative presently, and the cooperative is a different beast from a corporation. It's a different beast. So I would have said the most socialist industry we have in this country, the fishing. I would say that. And I would have said that if you look upon the people in the 3,000 fishers where you have presently, you go and you find out, and even the generational fishers, multi-generational fishers, people that are descendants of people who fish. This is a very people at the bottom dominated industry. But I agree with you. There is no guarantee that that's going to be the case 25 years down the road. But for it to be the case 25 years down the road, we have to ensure that we create rules and legislation and regulations that protect ultimately the source of that industry. That is wisdom, David. That is wisdom.
And I'm gonna give the devil what he's supposed to do. I credit Oceana with the banning of that ocean trawling thing. A big deal for that. And a big deal, a certain extent with the gillnet. But I believe bigger issues exist than gillnet. For example, I don't see why people from Guatemala and other countries should be given fisher's license for conduct of fishing of free water. That I totally against. That has been happening. And the fisheries department know that. And then they put one stop to that. How does that benefit us for selling only $125 fishing license and then come in your quarters and rape you $1,000, take what they want to take? The will be here teach me that,
But,
and I tell you.
But that's a separate issue, David. That speaks to
that speaks to
corrupt.
Let me come out on that.
But that speaks to the kind of corruption that we experience in all different aspects of government regulatory departments
I
and
become a
offices.
bipolar system.
Huh?
A bipolar. Our system, I believe, is bipolar.
No,
One day illegal, one day illegal.
I think it worse than bipolar. It's schizophrenic.
What's that?
It's a bad situation. But you cannot use what you are doing is you are using a deficiency to justify two totally different things.
I just
You
state the
can't
real
say, listen to
situation
me.
where you come out.
You can't say because I never said something yet about wrongdoing in a beauty pageants, because I've never done it. I've never said anything about the wrongdoing when take place in a beauty pageants. That because I say wrongdoing where they go on in other areas, that is not the legitimacy of it is not there. That can't stop me from saying and calling something accurately wrong that is wrong, because I fail to call out something that is wrong in another area. I think you can call me out for not calling out a wrong in another area, and I stand guilty of that. But you can't use that to say I am wrong on what I am talking about on the other hand.
I don't say who wrong, I don't say I'm not right. I just say where there is silence and where there is voice. I don't know if I
Yeah.
use the word wrong or right. I
Well,
just say you're
I
making
think
a comment here, but you're quiet.
silence can be called out. You hold people accountable. You have
And I
a right
believe
to
it.
hold people accountable. But if you're, but what you're saying to me is we are talking here about this project, and in my view, this whole process here, as Yaya is pointing out, is flawed, as with so many of these mega projects. If you could look upon Harvest Key, for example, we could go back in our history and watch big project after big project and find out that it has never been approached properly. It has never been people centered. It has never been about people input. It has never been. So that is the fundamental. That was one of the fundamental flaws that we have. And but for the point that I am adding to Sister Yaya's point is that it's not just for say, well, as they would tend to do. Oh, you need to know what the people think. You know what? We have one meeting tomorrow. That's such and such a place. I want to show up, and we want to show you 2 slides, and then you want to tell me what you think, and that's the end. That is empty. That is not. That is empty.
But that has been our environmental consultation for eons.
So
That's
the
what we
point.
do.
So the point I am making is that the responsibility here is that the information effort to inform the main stakeholders about what is on the line cannot be neglected. It begins there. It begins with proactively engaging and making sure people know exactly when a guy in a hand, where somebody they say, I want give you for where you're guy in your hand. And then we use the past experience, because every time they come and tell you that heaven they come, it never come. Harvest
You
scheme
think
if
them
it
people
be
are
harvest scheme if it be heaven. That means it be heaven. Heaven. I was there. I gone with the news team when
the
I
minister
got
can't be crazy for that thing, you know.
I
Mr.
gone
Hunt say I crazy a liar.
I gone to
When I
the
tell her you liar.
I gone to the I'm there at the session when way back when the prime minister was Said Musa was there when they bust champagne, when we may have one carnival terminal at the port. Heaven with the
All
content
right,
too.
all right.
We know about listen the amount of time when heaven fi come. The amount of time Southside for get saved. The amount of time Port Loyola for get saved. The amount of times you listen. So when you put concrete, thorough information along with the historical experiences that we have had, I am going to put my money that the people will make the right decision. Because we are not fools. You make people
Because we
know.
put the hand to the fire, they make the right decision. And we have to keep the hand on the fire.
I explain to you, once our people know what's on the line and they know their historical experiences, I have one sense of confidence.
Let me ask you a question.
Sister
You think
Yaya
there
turn.
been a-
Like I said this, and then I want to hang up.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. It's the longest I ever reasoned with you. I appreciate the reasoning with you know, but what I really take away from this conversation too, and I really want with people in here with, and especially the people that are community workers, the exchange where you and David had just now. Oftentimes when we have conversations, we don't really listen to one another for listen for learn. We listen to respond. And then, I mean, these are people in leadership, community workers, who we have to reflect on ourselves and say, you know what, I need to be a good listener. I can listen to what this person is saying. I want the skill set you have more than I need to take kind of funny. I can't take behind your back too. And I don't have the skill set. Is that you're a good listener. Whereby you could listen to David just now, patiently and kindly, and then walk David through the process. More so we don't have that skill set, we get upset, we walk with one another, and then we the community worker we're out to be leading on the ground up the thing not come out of it. So I really want to make we use that example just now with one or two like on live TV or going through that process. But so that I want the things that we need to improve on, because as community workers we have to say, well, why we didn't make the gains that we ought to be making? That's one of the reasons why from my experience.
Well, to be honest, I can do that, and David can do that because we stand on mutual respect, and we know that real people to talk to real people. Because if I never think I to talk to real people, I don't shut off long time.
Respect.
So that's how I rest. And the line where I may say before you call really connected to this whole conversation, which I've been trying to say now for several weeks, where Representative Omar said, we get what we organize for. And she was saying it in light of the victory, despite all the attempts from the president who make personal visits and felt that he could have that he could have swing Minnesota, getting people afraid of her, painting her as whatever they were painting her. And she said, before she said that part, she said, he bad word around and found out. That's what she literally said. He said, Trump Koyan bad word around and he found out. Because we get what we organize for. No, we don't get where we beg for. We don't get where we think we forget. We don't get where we deserve. We get where we organize for. We don't get where somebody feels sorry for we and give we. We get where we organize for. If there's good governance we want, we will get it because we organize for it. If it's better people in power that we want, we organize for it. If you check the documentary and you find out how somebody like Omar, how somebody like Oscario Cortez, the lady from the Bronx, got into power, if they didn't get into power simply because they jumped up on a rostrum and presented their ideas, their ascent into power stems from a long grassroots organization process of Justice Democrats that followed up on the heels of Occupy Wall Street, which created this kind of progressive movement that has presented candidates that are outside of the mainstream establishment control. It didn't happen because they wanted it. It didn't happen because they thought, well, we deserve that. It happened because they put nailing a board every day and they made it happen. And I know a lot of people understand that one of the huge deficiencies that we have right now is the quality of our organizing, like how you do. You understand it. It's one of your pet themes. You are constantly holding the quality of our organizing accountable, because organizing is not easy. It's not just because we get together mean you're going to be effective. People become disillusioned very quickly if you don't understand the craft of organizing. Simply being a consistent talker, simply being genuine, they are not good enough. You have to invest in the craft of organizing, understanding it's how to be better at it, And I am saying this not to people, but it's something that I say to myself. It's something that you have said to me, Sister Yaya. This is where we need to go. If we want things, if we deem things important for us to have, they will not fall out of the sky. No government is going to give it to you. Santa is not going to put it underneath your Christmas tree. The important things that we want, we will have to organize for and then have the courage to fight for until we achieve it. I don't see any other way.
I, I feel you say, and I
Yeah.
agree that.
With that?
I feel you say, and I agree that. But I have two questions. I did 100, how I just said, and I wish Belize would have sucking leave it at that. But coming back to the Waterloo project thingy, do you seriously think Waterloo and build a project right over there and telling people go take a walk through tour through Yabra?
Brother,
That they recommend they go walk down the street of Yabra?
brother, that a rhetorical question for me.
Yeah.
Because I don't believe in the investor.
Yeah.
I don't
And I can ask you
believe,
another
and
question.
I don't. That's not a belief. Let me before Miss Corey
We know the investor.
call me up on that. I have no confidence in the investor.
I have another question now. Do you believe if Fecta never had a press conference and Oceana never come out and WWF never come out, this thing never going to pass?
Absolutely no. I think that
All right.
was going to be a smooth running. I can also take you back to the fact that you also have to look back on the fact that it wasn't approved earlier than this by the previous administration because the stevedores had the courage to stand up for themselves. That's a so these are examples where people stand up and it makes a difference, but it's not good enough because the because the relentless nature of of uh, of this kind of mindset and worldview. It's relentless. There is an entitled sense, and so they don't feel that little microorganisms like you or me should ever prevent them from getting what they want. So they might have setbacks, but it doesn't alter their intentions. And we have seen where successive administrations are unable to they might kick it down the road because they don't feel like they could handle the heat right now, but the moment they feel like they could handle the heat, then they will bring it. That is the way it works, brother. So I know that when you everybody link me and say boy, David, they go off, David really make good points, but David's voice alone and the people who support you alone, too much people in the bleachers, brethren. We must understand that you often say it, David, we're waiting for Messiah. I am no Messiah. You are no Messiah. There are no Messiahs. We will achieve the things we want to achieve based on our
Fight for it.
willingness to get together, organize for it, fight through our collective distrust of each other, and then achieve it. We have to believe in ourselves that we can secure what we want. It's a difficult message because people would want to hope that when they vote for something, will it happen now. We want good government. We get good government when the people organize in a way to keep one atmosphere of accountability. Like if you got one pit bull, you can't try tie with a piece of nylon. You have to invest in one heavy piece of chain, brethren. Because the nature of one pit bull want rip apart your nylon. So we want pit bulls, but we don't want to get on good chain and leash. I said before you got pit bull, make we get together and get solid chain, solid leash. Because the nature of our political system, no matter who you put there, the constitution ensures that we have one pit bull.
Correct.
Even if they go in as poodle,
Some people fast.
by the time the vehicle reach 8 mile, the bark don't get deeper already. Because our system creates a pit bull. So we need to either correct that system, which I think is critical, but we also need to find in the meantime better chain and better leash. We can't sleep, but we have to go to break. We abuse the time, so we could jump that break and come back.
Me have 2 seconds, I can run that back. Me can say the go on.
Whether?
I'll exit the studio for 2 seconds.
Yeah. So for the people who are just joining me on our social media platform right now, Facebook, YouTube, you are still seeing us because we stream directly to all those platforms as well as to our television studio. So even though the television studio is at break, you are not experiencing that at break here on social media. So you essentially see we during the break. So if I should go get and eat tamales right now and eat that, you want to see me eat that tamales because the camera is still on. It's the kind of nature of the beast with these remote broadcasts, and so that's our first segment finish off. And as soon as the ad break is finished, then we'll come back with next segment. And that first segment they get real heavy, thanks to Sister Yaya's provocation, and I mean that with nothing but good vibes. So wish Michelle was with us this morning, but she was unable to be here. It's Michelle Trapp. So he left me and David for go on this one, yeah. And I also get to see me wear my glasses, people on social media, because I wear my glasses on TV that lot, but when I try read some of them things, I have to put on. Come with the longevity, I guess. And respect to all the people when they tell me that we audio straight too, because we got a whole bunch of texts we say the audio correct. And again, if you're one wouldn't experience that, but to the people where they're on cable, and if you got bad audio, then you don't have to check with no cable provider. Well, go on.
Yeah, we.
Yeah,
I'm back.
remember with the amp on YouTube and
I know.
Facebook and anything there. So
I know. I know. I think my best behavior now. Eh?
oh,
I think
that's why you're gone. That's why you're gone back.
no, I gotta eat, man. I gotta eat, but you know, man, I like sitting there and plate, so I like keep it
Oh,
back. So
oh,
got some of that thing there, you know.
the
Christmas
bacon,
time, that thing.
the bacon you're gonna eat.
Ham, Christmas ham. You know they got ham, and then they got ham exclamation mark. I eat the ham exclamation mark just now.
But I hope Sister India they tune in.
No, actually, we grew up 7 day Adventists. I remember in my house, we don't eat ham, we don't eat none of anything there. But my granny, I'm also 7 day Adventist. And she used to eat anything. So I used to look forward to go over to granny house. I think the taste all the nice it is. Christmas time especially, oh my gosh. So I don't apologize for the ham. Ham good. But Pfizer getting a vaccine license.
In England.
That's it. Yeah. Pfizer. Well, I'm to watch India. India have one prominent one too when they bring out too. I watch it this morning on the news.
China they send out vaccines.
I like you too. I mean, I don't feel it. You not catch me. I don't get no China vaccine. I sorry. Not for I and I. I really like anything made in China. I really like it.
But listen, I know. Yeah, I get that, but I guess if I have to choose between a Russian vaccine or a Chinese vaccine, I would choose a Chinese vaccine.
We are China. But how are Indian one?
But a lot of the medicine we get,
Thank you. I'm glad you said that, boy. I said that, boy, I hit the nail time. You should be criticize India, man. I tell them everything they eat right now, go for India. But you're smarter than me, sir. You're catching bullet. But you know something? Even at Belize right now, that's why I tell you, the imperative we get we have to get that quick. Because we don't country, we don't
I just
produce
want to tell
nothing.
me, I want to tell me where the vaccine come from, and then I'll
I
be
don't
honest
take no
with you.
vaccine period. I want to stick to protocols like that.
And then and I have to tell you, yeah, but
Internet drop.
yeah,
Back, we don't live back though online yet. You know back on the radio yet though.
yeah. I check see if they pick me up back yet.
Okay.
All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, welcome back to the WB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. Musa David Amendaris here with you until 9 o'clock. Let me just quickly state that our telephone number is 672-4770. Those are the direct lines for you to participate in the conversation. We want to get you on board, and we want to hear your views and your thoughts. I think one of those mornings where me and you talk far more than we should have.
Go first. Manifesto,
Yeah.
eh?
We kind of eat up the time a bit this morning. So again,
I
we
value it
just,
too.
huh?
I said I value it. I value it. I value the callers. I value the time we exchange conversation. I like the free flow ideas. Beautiful. That's what they offer.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's interesting. For 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 me there's so many things that you have to give consideration for. I think it's really like whenever you're to make a decision, whenever you take on something or do something, you really have to weigh the pros and cons of it in a legitimate way, because we have to create things, we have to develop things. You can't be just, well, we not
Yes,
try
it's fact.
anything at all. So we have to try things, but not be, you have to evaluate things thoroughly, especially when you have one long history of things where not live up to where they claim them want be and what they may do. This it might I think they say fool me once, shame pan you, fool me twice, shame pan me. Well, we get shame, we get
Tough
serial
time.
shame. We get serial shame. So we have to evaluate things critically. And again, there are times when if you measure it and you do the opportunity cost of a thing, and you are able to create confirmed guarantees because of your thoroughness, then you are in a you say, okay, this might work. uh, but the kind of shabby a forced love, we part, it's like you have these situations where part, they you don't know nothing about it, where processes of check and balance and regulations are like jokes. It's these are all things which, because ultimately one investor always got one idea, one investor always got something where he want to, where we probably feel that with the level of integrity in these regulatory processes, and the people in were supposed to participate in it, and then the people who we depend upon, where we choose for manage for we asset on our behalf and manage our interests on our behalf, who are supposed to serve us. That's where failure begins for me. That's where we begin accountability. Is it? I've gone through the phase of calling people, name calling, and saying this one evil and that one evil. That that emotional. We part we have to really padlock for we interest. The where it is we have the constitutional right to do so. The people who serve us, who we have chosen, we have to hold them accountable, because nothing can happen to us that they do not participate or agree to, because that's the system that we have. And they are to act in the interest of the owner. And who is the owner? You, me, and 400,000 other people. We own this interest. And we can't be lazy owners. We can't be absent owners, because we don't see what happen when we not there at the job site. When we not there at the job site, loan nonsense happen.
All right. Lamp up.
Yeah, so yes, well, worse than lamp up, man, they carry your cement and man, they carry your things. So we have to keep on checking on the job site. And I think what you did last week was effectively that. It's reporting to the job site. It is the kind of work which Miss Corey does every morning. It is not work that comes with an agenda of saying, well, we are looking for political outcome or we are looking for a political result. What we are looking for is the end game of a better reality for all of us. And we don't always have the same opinion. We don't always have we have disagreement, but we could have respect if we know we have the same outcome in mind. No?
You are the same goal. We better believe.
We're gonna call
I
Krem. Good
believe.
morning, WB.
Good morning, Mo. This is Sandra Coy.
Good morning.
Yesterday, you all played some excerpts. Well, you all, I think, I don't know if anyone else played some excerpts from the Prime Minister's presentation to the Secretary General of the United Nations in the convened SICA meeting. And
we're not the only ones, but we did.
A somber speech. But I have a problem with, because he did the same thing that Mr. Barrow did. Place all the blame for our present massive economic catastrophe on the pandemic and on the geographical problems of drought and flooding and so on. Yes, those are a part of the problem, but only a part. There's a phrase in French that they use it in English, the coup de grâce. It means the strike that will bring you down to your death, finish you off, the finishing strike, the coup de grâce. That is what the pandemic and the flood and the drought are. But long before the finishing strike was delivered to this country, we were already on our knees. As a nation, we were already on our knees. And so was the rest of Central America. So was the rest of Central America. And for the same reasons that the rest of Central America is on its knees, was on its knees, before it became stretched out in death, so were we, for the same reasons. In Central America, 500 years more, 500 years plus now, because 1992 is 500 years, that's 28 years, 528 years after the arrival of the Europeans in the Americas. What you have in Central America, all over Latin America, is a ruling class that has ravaged and raped, first as part of the colonial effort, and then having dismantled the colonialism of Europe, they began the internal national colonialism. That's what they did. So the Prime Minister mentioned three things that are our major problems: that citizen insecurity, the enormous inequity in income, and migration. But those three have everything to do with the poverty visited upon Latin America and upon Belize, as we have busily copied Latin America in their wrongdoing, because that is what we have done. We have used the Latin American model for our social structuring and economic structuring. That's what we have done most. And in the same, and we used it in order to create wealth for a small set of people at the expense of everybody else, because that set of people didn't have any wealth. They sequestered, they expropriated, they took over our wealth, the national wealth shared by all of us, and took it into their hands. They did no different than Henry VIII did in Great Britain, in England, as in the process of establishing Anglicanism. He wasn't about no religion. He was about getting his hands on wealth in order that the state could proceed with whatever were the state's plans and endeavors, most of which were wrong. That's what he did. He took over the church. He took over all the wealth of the church in Great Britain and declared it a national church with him as the head of the church. That's why Queen Elizabeth is the head of the church. That was one of the first major examples of expropriation in the modern era. Massive expropriation. Everything that the church owned, the state took. The buildings, the land, the jewels, the cross, the gold chalice, everything transferred to the state. You see? And the state was the king. The state was the king. They were just beginning the process of nation-state building. And it was the king. And this is what we have done. And my issue is more, just as wealth is transferable in legacy to one's children and future generations, so is poverty. If you have expropriated the wealth of a people for your family and families, then you have left the remainder of the populace impoverished. And just as you are busy transferring the wealth to your generations, so you're causing the transfer of poverty to the generations. That's what you have done. And what goes along with poverty? Ignorance heads the list. And in this country, they made sure now that a generation has literacy at God knows what level, but it's not at the level I was when I was a child. So they can't understand, they can't read, they're not read. The parts of the brain that deal with processing the written word are not functioning at maximum and optimum level in the society, at the best and the greatest level. They are not functioning in the society because of the impoverishment of our people. And until and when we, as a people, I won't speak for the rest of Central America and Latin America, decide to become honest, to lay all the cards on the table. Mr. Secretary General, I am second-generation politician. I am third-generation politician, Mr. Secretary General. I am fourth generation. The problems my country has are a result of what my parents, grandparents, great-grandparents in the first generation did. Mea culpa, mea maxima culpa. My fault, through my greatest fault. I cannot only say I'm sorry, now I want to seek assistance in correcting it. When you go with truth before people most, people listen to you. When you go with a willingness to accept your part of the responsibility, people will listen to you. They don't listen to you really when you come telling them all the fault is yours. You did all the wrong to me. Well, they did wrong, but did they do all the wrong? No, they didn't. We did it to ourselves too, you see, most. And that is the problem. That is the strife now that I see. Because given this pandemic and the disastrous effects it has had on the economy, then in the Belizean situation, we have the flooding and the drought and the crime and God, it's just a long list that adds to the pandemic. The heirs to that first rape, the heirs to that first episode of rape, rightfully are frightened because their lifestyle and their wealth are threatened. They are threatened. And as humans, you can understand their fright. So they will want to rectify that situation for themselves for their children and the future, the next 5 or 6 generations, they will want to rectify that. We have to understand that most, and I don't think we do. Yabra, the port, the people who live in that area need to understand that 2 things are going to be taken from them: their land and their food. And with that will go everything else. With that, they want all that land there. And they will deprive them of the food first to weaken them. That place yields a lot of protein to that community, and by extension is sold to the rest of the cities. You need 63 grams of protein. I need 58 grams of protein as an adult to survive. But our children need 73 plus grams of protein more. They need more. That's what will be taken away from them when you destroy the fishing grounds in that area. That's what the people out there have to figure out now. Do they want to have their protein source taken away from them? Do they want their children's protein source taken away from them? And remember, the children need more protein than the adults do. Do they want to lose their land? Because it's the land that's the ultimate aim. The ultimate aim. You find anybody looking ramshackle living on the area of the Port George, let's say between St. Mary's Church, extending up to the sea, going along Erie Street, Hudson Street, you don't see that. The ramshackle starts on the other side of Gabriel Lane. Right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Not on the south side. Let me see. It would be the east side, the south side of Gabriel Lane. The east side, I think it would be. The south side the east side. That doesn't start there. It starts on the other side. You see? So, and I lived there once. I lived in that area once. So I am just making these observations more to help our people to understand. If we want to build a truly, it isn't the UN Secretary General who will do it. It isn't the money from the Green Fund. No, it is us. We as a people at every level of the society must make up our minds. We want a just society. And in that decision will come the knowledge of what we will have to do to get that. We will have to take away the wealth that our parents got wrongfully and return it into the common bank of the nation. There is no shortchanging that. And until we do that, while I applaud the Prime Minister, the speech was well written, and the content are sober and somber, yes, and well structured. The fault begins with us, and that wasn't written into what I heard. Maybe it was in the rest of the speech, but I didn't hear us accepting any responsibility for what is happening. Not even the responsibility that we have now with two reasons, because the rest of the industrial world may be letting out the fumes out of the chimney stack in China, but we are cutting down the forest, aren't we too contributing to global warming more?
Yeah.
We are, and we must be willing to tell the truth. When we do that, we will have the Western world and the global community, we will be able to talk to them because they will know that they are speaking to adults, not children who can easily be manipulated. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you very much, Ms. Corey. We've been told that the CBC, on which we are Channel 57, had a fire last night and is currently repairing their fiber cables. So for those who have been experiencing difficulties, the cable service provider having some issues. We go to break. We'll be back.
Good conversation. I'll be right back.
So going back, you're going back for more of that Christmas ham.
I want to try something different, something greener.
Remember, we still up on Facebook and YouTube. No, they let out you.
That's cilantro, my God. This cilantro thing, chop up,
Cilantro.
Yeah.
I think cilantro is scarce.
For you, not for me. I got my cilantro to grow up.
Where you get it? Where you get your black soil from, boy? I passed the
Well,
Sunday.
right
Rich.
now, no, that not black soil. We say that I will say is actually filter press. That come
Bagash?
all the way from base. That the bagash will not get burned. That come from BSI.
But you still have to
Come
mix
from
that though. That too much night.
yeah, I had to get my black dirt from Gillette the Boom. And I had to get chicken manure from prison. And I had to get horse manure from Boom. And I mix all of that together in one big thingy. And I stone that down on the
Must
grounds.
you give me at least 5 bag of that mix there for you, man.
Yeah, the first 5 bag free.
Oh, you want to sell it?
I mean, you get 5 bag, we have to play it though. No, we're not going to sell, but you can get 5 bag anytime. But
Yeah.
as usual, you have to come up to it, come up for it.
Yeah, I need 5 bag.
Wait for because of the rain, we're not get the black soil yet from Doyle. Because Doyle is bringing the black soil.
I
Okay,
don't
black
know
soil
about that
now,
black soil farm boom. Like I get some of that black soil farm
you
boom.
know work good. You know work good, but you have to
You want to prop it
now
up.
good like flour, now base. And then you just add to the base. Because that one dilute down the bag. Can I get 6 load of filter press, 6 load of the bagash. Then and then I also to get the prisoners.
Where the
tell me on-
filter press different how?
because the bagash I want to actually go through the burning process and burn it and more ash. The filter press also want to get squeezed, the juice get squeezed out of it and they get disposed of. It never get burned.
How they make it look like soil or what they do then?
When it decompose after a while, that can it decompose. That used to don't decompose for eons. And then you gotta basically have to go to BSI, you have to beg for it, then you have to find your own truck, your own loader, and then you go for it. A tediously process, but basically why they try do and why they try show Belize, if you want to build a farm, you have to try build it as flood proof as possible from elevated 4 feet high. That's to mitigate flooding. That's how when you put the greenhouse there, we could grow all year round because the cabbage right now scarce. And what happened right now to the importers, the pressure the government, they tell them buy this scarce, make you bring it in for here, make you bring it in for there. So a lead type game they happen. But I figure if you get a lot of the lead projects are going, like the one we do right now, we're supposed to go make sweet pepper with $6 a pound. Onions and cabbage, carrots expensive, and at Christmas what they head into. A nicely delicate game I think they are play. But yeah, man, you could come for the soil and never ready. Give me a week or so because I don't get the black soil because of the continuous rain, they can't dig them because they have to sieve the black soil before they sell it.
The what?
They have to sift the black soil. Sift it, run it through and sieve. And what the man tell me right now, like when you wet the muddy and sieve, so I can give him a couple of days, make it dry up, then you deliver that to the spot. The way the plan for plan, so you plan put on your own things here on the ground too. You don't have things here on the ground.
But I plant a lot of tree, brother. I don't know that.
But not type of tree.
No, I know into I know do what they call him
Like the crop.
like short term crops. No. Not at my yard at least.
That's good to me. 1, 2 trees, you know, it's with Papa.
And what happen is that I know I go early in the morning and I come home late at night be. So, you know, I like then thing they
Yeah, I
require
don't have time for that.
yeah.
But in 2020, I try spend. I want to 21. I want to try. My resolution is try spend more time on my farm and try to develop that because I got to. I got to diversify and fast. One other thing I want to talk when we come back here, I want to push my buy Belize thing for this Christmas. Cause I know there's a lot of Christmas shopping that happen, but I want to focus more on the Belize black cake and the Belize black molasses, and we could try to give Belize on the hand because fella, I noticed a lot of the big sales when they come out, and I'm gonna hear for some of the merchants and the ball this Christmas. Christmas will miss us, but we have to toughen up. So I can't choose a plant. You know, so you're not making like flowering trees, fruit trees.
Well, I plant all kind of tree, man. I plant mango, soursop, avocado,
A palm tree if you ever need.
mahogany,
I got a lot of royal palm. I mean, the dwarf on it.
lemon, lime, grapefruit, pimento, cacao, banana.
That's for a will. That's for a will.
Yeah, banana.
But the one I will tree live. I get 4, but only one live like bad luck as I put it in the ground a wicked flood corn. The one I look like I make it.
The cacao?
Yeah. But the one I look like I make it in my zone. I plant other thing too. I plant velvet apple. I got mango, plum, governor plum, teak. I got several varieties of tulip, African tulip.
The one thing where I not got yet, the where I really want breadfruit. Yeah,
you know breadfruit
nearly 2 years I try to get it.
You know perhaps if you ever go through the Hummingbird Highway, they're gonna leave village. I always sell. They're gonna leave things about this on the side.
I know that way. Anyway, that time for
go back on the left hand side. The lady on the left hand side, but they got this cement house and some of these bus stop. She got breadfruit tree. For sale.
All right, we have to go back on 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to the WB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. Most Hide here with you with David Almendares. We don't got a lot of time left, brother, but just see I want to throw in on you 1, 2 there quickly.
Yes. We're going in a Christmas shopping season. As soon as we line up in a Publix and in a spot. And I want to just bear in consideration that if you go buy Belize, buy a little bit of Smiling, buy a little bit of local people products, not a nice local ham, local sausage, local seasoning. If you buy your black molasses for your fruit cake, make sure somebody local. We try to push the local thing because we're not on a hard time, on a pandemic time. And then local people depend on any time for keep on something and then pack it for keep on floating happen. We don't know we're not got no big Christmas. So if you know any local producer produce Ricardo, the Nutmeg man, the Rompopo man, Guinea Ali Hala man, buy any Battle Rompopo fan, buy any black cake fan. Even if you mean you buy it and give it to somebody else, make you support somebody local. Make you do something for somebody in a weak community. Because they could use it, really help them. They could use it. Make we look out for each other. We know we can't go to Chitomal. We know we can't. Some of us still go to foreign. But for those of us, I was calling him Padawan, but I'm not do that. Yeah, make we try for the betterment of our country. Start got some brotherly love towards the country. You see the man that said the leave peanuts down the street, buy from he right and buy the planters. If you see the nice, sexy
molasses and things you use. Buy it from any fruit cake. Buy it from Lehman, by Albert Street or on the curve.
You end
The
up, you end
apples
up to
and
talk about black cake anyhow.
yes. But I into my black cake. I like black cake and white fruit cake. I know most people are into that. I love my black cake. I love my white fruit cake. They're on my diet. But I'm putting an extra mile jogging for at least slice of black cake any day.
But because
So
the
that's
time we
my
have to take,
message.
because the time we have to take a final break and come back and wrap up.
Right. And for everybody who tune in on Facebook and they read on the posts and live, but they're all over on international. And they get all kind of message all over international. Yeah, the vibes is good.
Yeah?
So yeah, man. Yeah.
That's your world,
Kelly,
boy.
I got so much people that followers like that on face. I guess I'll message you. I don't even know when I get my number, but I appreciate them too because most people contact me through the show are positive vibes, and the people will listen and then they feel my vibes. And sometimes I think I'm a crazy man. So when they tell me, boy, I'm crazy like you, then I realize I got these followers with the marketer and crazy beat. But we're not crazy aimlessly. We're crazy with definitely aim and objectives. I know like I saw one time, send me a little text. I got a lady for states who send me a prayer every day. I got next day ballet WhatsApp me some Bible verse every day. I read them. And I like you, my day start 3 o'clock. I know 7 o'clock go to bed kind of guy. Worse if you stress out, I could put out of bed for 6:30. Because to me sleep, recharge my battery. All I do is cut off my phone and I go sleep. And now that means I get up at 3 o'clock. When I get up 3 o'clock, before I get up 3 o'clock and 2 o'clock, I don't hear my computer back start kick off. And I like start off with my news, listen off music, and get ready for what I'm going to task my day with. Because nowadays, especially during Corona, I have to really plan your day properly. So I can try telling, especially those who don't send me a message, thank you, man. Thank you. I know I can't no name, can't blast nobody, but for the good thoughts and the wise sayings and the marketive, thank you. And I never expect that, but it happens more and more every day. So thanks to that too. The reach something them was I put on the glasses, man. I don't want to bring on the glasses today.
No man, I bring on the glasses enough time, man. What happened to you?
I got my white glasses. I know where they are. But when I pull on my glasses, they Jada tell me, good God, but that why? They never even impressed with my white glasses at that. I look afraid to pull on my glasses after that.
If I do any short term crops, it'll be like other I'm interested in a hydroponics, like I read up on a lot about it. And
Want
that
some fish or one or two fish?
not aqua. The hydroponics where the system require
Yeah, water thing.
where you have the nutrients to come through the pipes.
Pipe.
Yeah, and you could have that programmed, and so you don't have to dead air, and if you have that closed up, you're not gonna you don't have to worry about no pesticide, you don't have to worry about no soil. It's for somebody like me would have work,
I got a guy through boom when they do that.
Yeah,
Apparently big on very large scale.
that one big thing that Asia.
Yeah. I want to do the one of the fish.
Then go vertical.
You have to take a little time to go hear me like farm one of these
But me
days.
try call you the other day. Me call you Monday, and you don't answer your phone, B. When I come off of the show, when you come off 10 minutes early Monday, and I try call you, you don't answer the phone. You never return the call.
When you
So
call me, I tell my business that happened Monday. I got a new puppy. Well, I try house chain. A new dog. I got
I can't mention the name of the dog. Anyways, come to me. But the Italian Mastiff. I try get down for living in the house and that day when I left fire because that the go party moment I got on top I got my back way when he make that I got tear through the door so I do some cleaning and I like clean. So I take after then I left the phone right on the table and take after and did it heat. Because I try broke in so you're living in the house, but my God. Yeah, Connie Corso. The name Connie Corso that the official name of the dog. But yeah. I try get that blending. Here and be the new farm dog, the farm mastiff. And we got I can see man because we got some couple thousand fish on the property.
Yeah, but I don't want to see no tilapia. I don't know why I want to see. I know you can't care me or impress me with tilapia.
We got some sea fish too, man. But we got hey,
I got sea fish.
Because I got a friend that believes in fishing for sea and give me sea fish. We eat, done dead.
Oh. You think you tell me you got snap up on your farm now, man. Tell your boy watch and stop lie, yeah?
No, I'm not going that far, lad. I'm not going that far. But I will tell you the species of black tilapia that I have was imported from the States and they're designed to look like snappers. I will tell you that. I got a species. I tell you, you said like you said do your homework. I do my homework for this project. And I beg for all strategic places. Forget it correctly the kind of way. But yeah, we got a nice spot where they put fish in there strictly for use the water for water the plants. Strictly for that. When I try to do it that kind of way, but we wait for the greenhouse are like Jesus to take land to come. But we hope
Where the greenhouse to come from?
It come from Agrogeron out of Kyle. But a real high-tech greenhouse and they have a
how big it?
They have the Midwest 30 by 25 or something like that. A decent sized thing. It's designed for plant to an acre produce in a one greenhouse. Like that's supposed to, if you plant it properly, could produce for an acre outside thing will produce. Yet to decide under the old administration, we had an agreement with the Ministry of Agriculture, may I come in and set it up for way and all that nice because we don't get the tank, we don't get the hose, the pan we are used to the that project they don't full with water. So everything basically we just wait for the greenhouse and the rest are really we get some poles and BL and logistically we're supposed to set and ready for fire some engines.
All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, Belize, we're back. Still broadcasting remotely this week. I'm not sure how Badanu is going to do it tomorrow and Friday. We want to give thanks to the crew. Respect David all the time. Got to give respect to Anthony Tony G. Grant, the Reggae Kingpin, at Creme Radio, at Creme Television, Miss Jada Anderson, One Lady Show, I believe. And we want to remind you that we actually shift off for the Corona a little bit this morning. Not completely, but we've gone into other things. Just a little bit, no? We hope that you all understand that we have, if we try make Christmas be usual Christmas, it could very well be then with the guarantee that we have one miserable Easter as well. Because we don't guarantee that we have some really bad energy for this month based on past behavior and present attitude where we have to try change. We have to fight this pandemic one good choice at a time. So you all are part of this. Nobody is on the bleachers, nobody on the bench. Everybody that's starting 11 right now. So keep your hands washed, wear a mask properly, stay apart physically, can't mingle household to household. You can't go from house to house like we doing in the past, the hunt down, black cake and rum popo and anything. Whether that your yard that for you, I don't want to go there. Whether that for your yard that for you, if you want to share, figure out one see if we left it on the fence. Tell the person, yeah, I left piece of cake on the fence. Make sure nobody know see it before you. Cause you know how you go. Yeah. You could imagine if Belize I mean like foreign we got Amazon come and drop the box.
Hey, that not work, yeah. Enough man,
Man I go from yard to yard to look for the Amazon box. Yeah, so we have to be on guard, we have to be vigilant. In the meantime, we stress, be strong, stand firm. For now, we're gone!
Yo, respect was.
Respect.